Nobody does it, Bennett. Yes, I've gone and said it. Movies and games, some things that are lame. Nobody does it, Bennett. A video game, movie pitch. We'll make a film with a game as itch. Video game, movie pitch. Let's start a show. No, we're not on Twitch. A video game, movie pitch.
Hello, and welcome to Nobody Does It Bennett, a video game movie pitch. I'm your host, the Greg Bennett Experience, and I'm joined this week by Ross as we cast and make our pitches for Uncharted 2, Among Thieves. Ross,
Kia ora.
welcome back to the show.
Yeah, good to be back.
Been some time. When was the last time we did? We did Ninja Turtles together.
Yeah.
But Ross, good to see you again since then. It's been over a year since we did the first Uncharted video game movie pitch, which was the very first video game movie pitch on this channel.
Mm.
You know, I did Batman Returns with Jeff a few weeks ago to celebrate the anniversary of doing Batman for the very first show of Nobody Does It Bennett, so why not do the sequel for Uncharted? We're here. We're ready. We pitched our ideas for the first Uncharted game all the way back on the very first episode of a video game movie pitch. Now we're back for Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, Die Harder.
Tokyo Drift.
Every time I see a 2 in anything, I think Die Harder. The most stupid name for a sequel ever. Yeah. Die Hard 2, Die Harder. How can you die harder than already dying hard?
Exactly.
It's a good movie.
This one's Too Charted, Too Furious.
True. Ross, are you excited for this one?
I'm keen.
You keen?
Yep. Let me at 'em.
What we're going to do in tonight's show is cast our characters and make our pitches for a movie or TV show for Uncharted 2. If both of us have the same name on both our cast list, then we'll automatically cast them. Do you have fond memories, Ross, of Uncharted 2?
I love this one. Like, the opening sequence is honestly unparalleled in pretty much any game that I can think of. That train awakening is just stunning.
It's like one of the best openings I've ever had in a video game for me.
And even possibly a movie.
Well, have you watched the new Uncharted movie, by the way?
No, I've refused.
If as long as you completely ignore the fact Uncharted exists, the games, I like Mark Wahlberg, I like Tom Holland, so their chemistry is fine, but it's very tropey, very by the book, but it's still kind of fun as well.
They don't chart uncharted territory.
No. It's more charted than Uncharted.
Oh, jeez.
But the opening
Who charted?
does actually, like, this is not a spoiler because it's not giving anything away too much, but the opening opens up with Nathan hanging from a plane where he's like hanging on to something and having to climb through these plane, like, you know, in like some movies where the baggage gets let out the back.
Isn't that from number 3?
It's from number 3. The baggage thing is from number 3. Yeah. But like it starts with him on the baggage things and having to climb up them. I was like, this is just the opening of Uncharted 2, like with the train.
But they've just, they're like, well, we can't use that.
Let's go Uncharted 3 for that one instead. But the movie itself pretty much is a lot heavily influenced on Uncharted 4. Anyway, so yeah, Uncharted 2. So that train scene was great.
Yeah, fantastic. I like how it kind of goes into a lot more history. You get like Marco Polo, you get Shangri-La, which we've also kind of heard of, but with the more Tibetan, the original name of Shambhala. You get into these places that we kind of know already, Tibet, Kathmandu, and Borneo, but it kind of keeps the mystique just absolutely stunning too. Like facial animations, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, for me, Uncharted 2 is like, Uncharted was good. I really had a good time with Uncharted. It was a game I played and was like, you know what? If I make a sequel, I'll have time for it. But when Uncharted 2 came out, like some of the opening from that train scene onwards, I was like absolutely hooked. I liked the first game. I absolutely love Uncharted 2. Even though 4 is really, really good, because of the, I guess, the nostalgia as well and the memories I remember playing first Uncharted 2, it is still my favorite Uncharted game. I didn't stop until I finished the game. I ended up playing it for 12 hours straight. Why was it 12 hours and not like 7 or 8 hours, Greg? Well, that ending boss battle was about 4 hours.
What, against Lazarevich?
He just kept killing me. You'd take him down, and then he'd get back up, and then I'd have no health still, and just blow me up. I'm like... So yeah, he's one of my most frustrating battles. Like, I don't play Elder Rings, I don't play Demon Souls, so I don't have those kind of like challenges. But yeah, Uncharted 2, I think of that and go, my God, is this guy just gonna die? Is he just gonna die?
Uncharted Souls.
Yeah. So Uncharted 2, the first one, kind of like Indiana Jones Tomb Raider. The second one got the formula for Uncharted down. It was the going around the world. It was the absolutely almost killing himself around at every corner, but everything was more cinematic.
What used to be the backup characters, they're fully fleshed out. You've now got, even with the newcomers, you can sense the history. They're an entirely fleshed out character rather than, here you go, here's just another person for new, for novelty.
Yeah, they add to the story, not just there to go along for the ride. Like, I guess even to a point in the first game with Elena, she had some good moments in the first game, but she was there to be saved pretty much a lot of times. Well, this one,
she was the damsel.
Yeah, this one, she became almost like the equal with Nathan. The romance started in the first one, but this is one where you realize they're made for each other. She's more than just a damsel. She can hold her own, and she does this a lot in this game.
And she's in, she's following her own path. Their paths interconnect, but she's not reliant on anybody else. She's, she's cranking it for herself.
Yeah, in the second game, she wasn't in the pool to find Nathan. She just happened to come across him because she was after the story of the moment, and Nathan happened to be there. That's what I loved about it. It wasn't like, oh, I heard you might have been in the pool. I've been looking for you ever since, the first game. He's like, no, it's, what are you doing here? I'm doing my job. More importantly, what are you doing here? It's kind of like, oh.
You're the one that shouldn't be here.
Exactly. I'm reporting on a civil war. What are you doing here, Nathan?
I have a visa, all right? You got in here. You snuck into this country illegally.
You hung on the back of a cargo ship, probably, to get here.
Yeah.
So Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, is a 2009 action-adventure game developed by Naughty Dog, very naughty.
Oh, naughty.
And published by Sony Computer Entertainment. It is the second game in the Uncharted series and was released in October 2009 for PlayStation 3.
That was 2009?
2009.
Wow.
The first one was 2007, I think. PS3 came out, I think, 2007, maybe like 6 months later, I think Uncharted came out. So it was very close.
Yeah.
Set 2 years after the events of Drake's fortune, which makes sense because it's about 2 years after development. The single-player story follows Nathan Drake, Chloe Fraser, and Elena Fisher as they search for the, I say Cintamanti, but Chintamanti Stone. Chintamanti Stone, thank you. For the Chintamanti Stone and Shambhala.
Shambhala!
Mr. Loverman, Shambhala! Shambhala! While battling a militia led by war criminal Zoran Lazarevich.
Lazarevich.
God, I can't get names right. I'm probably going to get that wrong again in the rest of this.
And I will take my Balkan. It's Zoran Lazarevich.
Yes, correct me every time.
Yeah.
Development for Uncharted 2 Among Thieves began immediately following the critical and commercial success of the first entry. The development team drew inspiration from explorer Marco Polo, which makes sense because the whole story revolves around Marco Polo. Obviously, the first one was about
Polo.
Sir Francis Drake.
Yep.
Naughty Dog developed an updated engine for Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, which runs exclusively on the Naughty Engine 2.0 system. Did you know that? So they made this...
I didn't know there was a Naughty engine.
It's a Naughty engine. Yeah, it's been very naughty. It makes sense because the graphical upgrade and the game itself just feels so much different from the first game.
It's so much smoother. They ironed out all the kinks.
Cuts from actual gameplay to cinematics. It was one of the first games that did it almost seamlessly.
Yeah.
Where you don't pick when a cutscene's coming because it looks exactly the same as the game. Most games in PS3 did not do that well. These improvements enabled extensive motion capture, greater in-game cinematic sequences, as we said, and inclusion of an online multiplayer component, a first for the franchise. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves received critical acclaim for its elaborate set pieces, character design, storytelling, graphics, technical innovation, and gameplay mechanics. It doesn't say anything about the writing. That's the thing that Uncharted is known for. The writing is spot on.
Yeah, I like in terms of story, it kicks pretty much most games, but out the water.
And just the personality each character has. It's different. It's not the same person. Like I was watching a playthrough game of an X-Men game from the 90s, and even the walk was the same. I was like, couldn't you even change that up? And like in this, it's like everyone's got their own personality. No one else. It's not two people that seem the same.
Except for the goons.
The goons? Oh yeah, they're all...
Yeah.
Get them! I might have mentioned this in the first game too. One thing that annoys me, like I want them to make a video game that when you shoot someone, they actually are wounded. Not, you shot them 3 times in the shoulder, and they're shooting you from that same shoulder still. There should be a game where they feel the effects of being wounded because you just got shot in the arm. Not the bang, 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 3 in the chest, I'm just going to get back up, I'm going to roll, then keep shooting at you.
I'm going to dash sideways.
These guys are like, wow, they can take a bullet.
Find cover!
If you like what you hear or have a question for us, who knows? It might be about Uncharted 2. Well, you can contact us through our Nobody Does It Bennett Facebook page, or by hitting us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. You can also email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com. That's a Bennett with 2 N's and 2 T's. We even have a website you can check out, nobodydoesitbennett.buzzsprout.com. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and other podcast outlets. Simply marvelous. You can even listen to us on YouTube. So I went in full on John Campbell.
Marvelous.
Simply marvelous.
Marvelous.
Right, Ross. Shall we cast our movie or TV show for Uncharted 2 Among Thieves?
All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Let's go to casting.
Nobody Does It Bennett. A video game movie pitch.
Right, we're into the casting part now, Ross, for Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. Before I go into the first character option, though, Ross, do you want to recast either Nathan Drake, Victor Sully Sullivan, or Elena Fisher from our last pitch? I personally want to keep them all.
Yeah.
I think they're well cast, and I want to see them continue on.
And I think also, because as we say this, The Boys Season 3 has just come out, and Jensen Ackles is going to be in that, and I reckon he's like, this is going to be kind of prophetic, and we know he's great in Supernatural, but then this will kind of kick him into, I'm hoping it kicks him into overdrive. Jensen, yeah, Bruce Campbell, put him in, especially in terms of Amber Heard.
As long as he doesn't get cast in Aquaman 2 to replace Amber Heard, which apparently is like a 3 million petition now to actually recast Amber Heard with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. And he's keen.
Why hasn't this been done already?
Yeah, he's keen. Yeah, Samara, she's got it. She's got to come back for it.
Yeah, she hasn't done much I can think of lately. Like, last thing I saw was Bill and Ted Face the Music, which was about 2 years ago. Maybe she took a break, which is fair. Let's carry on with their casting. I'm just going to close up my tablet here and go to my piece of paper. Going old school here.
Ooh.
So the first character that isn't going to be Nathan, Victor, or Elena, since they're already cast, is going to be Chloe Fraser. She is a character that is of Indian and Australian descent, so it's a bit of a mixture. But yeah, Ross, do you have a first choice for Chloe Fraser?
So I went on, because she doesn't have a really strong Australian accent. She almost sounds British.
That's what I thought she was too.
Yeah, and so I went for that dark-haired British, half something else. You know, in terms of Chloe, she's half Indian. But my one that I chose is half, I think she's not Taiwanese. She might be like Hong Kong. But it's Elodie Young, and she was Elektra in the Daredevil show. She was the FBI agent in The Hitman's Bodyguard with Ryan Reynolds.
The first one or the second one?
First one. Yeah, she wasn't in the second one. But she, like, is a spitting image.
Oh, damn. Yeah, no, she does look like... she looks exactly like Chloe. Yeah, and I really liked her in the second season, Daredevil. It wasn't the strongest season of Daredevil. Like, I think they introduced Punisher and tried to intertwine Daredevil into it. It didn't quite work as well for me as the first and third season. But yeah, she was very good.
She's a better Elektra than old, what's her name?
Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner, yeah.
But yeah, no, I look at that now and go, yeah, you're absolutely right. She's a spitting image.
Yeah, she's got like a posh British accent. Yeah. Also, I think she's like a 2-time black belt. Physically, she can hold her own. She can definitely do, like, you know, a lot of the stunt work and things. Playing Elektra shows that she can kind of be that morally ambiguous. Is she good? Is she bad? We don't know.
She could almost be the Catwoman that she needs to be.
Yeah.
Which is, she's a thief, but she's not someone out to hurt people. It's not fair to call her the Catwoman of Uncharted because she's more than that. but that's what the kind of role she fits. Thief of the Conscience.
Yeah.
Damn good choice for your first option. So you've come out the gate really well. My first option for a Chloe Fraser in Uncharted 2, I've gone for someone of Indian descent. I didn't really notice in the games when I was playing it that she was of Indian descent until I guess it became more known in the future games. I thought she was English. I thought she had black hair like you thought as well. So my first option for Chloe Fraser is Priyanka Chopra, an Indian actress, producer, model, and singer, the winner of Miss World Pageant 2000. She is married to Nick Jonas as well, from the Jonas Brothers.
And she was in the new Matrix?
Yep, she was. Yeah, I thought she could be kind of have a character arc as Chloe, but also just really bring the kind of the Indian heritage to the role. That also, if you really wanted to kind of express her Indian culture in future movies, I thought she could do a really good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's my first option. Do you have a second option, sir, for a Chloe Fraser?
Second option, again, dark haired, again, British. Somebody who definitely can, hold her own and be a badass. Extremely versatile actor. And that is Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black.
Oh, is she also She-Hulk?
Yes.
I haven't seen her since Orphan Black, so when she came out in She-Hulk, I was like, oh, this is great. But she's been doing other stuff, I just haven't seen her.
Yeah, every time she turns up, you're like, all right, you rock.
No, that's a good choice. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does in She-Hulk. I think the trailer itself was pretty funny. Apart from the CG that they're apparently improving, it's just they wanted to get something out the door while they were still doing the CG shots.
Yeah.
So she kind of looks like Fiona from Shrek.
It's just like she's a little bit taller and she's green.
Yeah, I do love the fact that she goes on a date and when they're going to bed, she's carrying him.
Yeah.
And he's loving it. He's like, oh. I like her in Orphan Black. Looking forward to seeing what she does in She-Hulk. Yeah. So yeah, no, I can see her as a Chloe Fraser. Right, my second choice for Chloe is someone that I've gone completely Australian for this one. Thought, oh, I'll go into this because she's always great. Not always been in the best movies, but I think she still does well in them. My first option is Emily Browning. She was in the first season of American Gods. She was a little kid in Lemony Snicket's series of Unfortunate Events. She's in a movie with Ned Kelly with old Heath Ledger back in the day. Sucker Punch is the one I was talking about where it wasn't a great film, but she was still good in it. I think she could bring the attitude that Chloe is known for, that the spunk, you might say.
Yeah, well, she definitely has that in American Gods.
Yeah.
And then in the later seasons, she, kind of takes on her own story rather than being just a backup character. So, yeah, she's good.
But yeah, really, really good. So that's my second choice is Emily Browning.
Right on.
Do you have a third choice, sir?
She's in the pool.
Oh, Nate. Nate here. Yeah, mate. Hey, Nate. Nate, mate.
It's the only thing that I can do in Australian that doesn't have a swear word in it.
Wait, Australian.
Yeah. No, I was just down to 2.
Well, when you went for the first choice, I was like, you don't need any other options.
Yeah.
So I've got a third choice. It's someone who's completely not Australian and completely not of Indian heritage. And I was like, why not? I just like her. I've had her in Mass Effect as well as an option. And I just like every time she shows up in something. My third option is Tessa Thompson.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Oh, Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, also Men in Black International, which we will be covering on Worst of the Worst shortly. She's in that. I still like her in that.
I don't think, honestly, I watched that recently. It's not Worst of the Worst.
It's Worst of the Worst. We take the worst movie of the series and we say...
out of the MIB series.
For Worst of the Worst is it as bad as what you actually think it is?
So stay tuned. Nobody does it, Bennett.
But Westworld as well. She's in that.
Yes.
Very, very good in that. So every time I see her, I'm like, yep, Tessa Thompson. I could see her as being Chloe. I would have to change the heritage, but yeah, I think she'd be a good character.
That's what we employ writers for.
Yeah.
Hey, make this work.
She could play British.
And she doesn't even need to, really.
No, doesn't have to. She can be American if she wants.
Yeah, ooh. Ooh.
But that was my third choice is Tessa Thompson. But if I was going to choose, I'll be picking your first choice.
Elodie? Yeah. I think she's the person that would most closely resemble, the actual, in terms of looks, physically.
She can do the fighting.
Yeah.
She can have the attitude.
I think maybe in terms of the actresses, she might be the weakest, but, could definitely rise up to that.
As much as I talk about how good the writing and stuff is for Uncharted, it really is. You don't have to be the strongest actor or actress. I think the other elements is like the physicality and the look. And she wasn't that bad, I don't think, in Daredevil at all.
Oh no, it's more the fact of like the other choices are
Top notch, award-winning kind of actors. Yeah. But that would be my first choice. Are you happy with that choice?
yeah, I concur.
Confirming it then? Cool. I'm confirming LD Young as Chloe Fraser.
Right on.
Well done. Now, we move on to character 2, Zoran Lazarevich. Lazarevich?
Lazarevich.
Zoran Lazarevich. Ross, it's the first time I'm saying that. Zoran Lazarevich is our second option. My first option for Zoran, I've gone for an actor that's very well known, that if he played this role, I think he could just really own it and be really, really good. And you'll watch him, you'll love to watch him. That's how good he is. My first option for an actor for Zoran is Javier Bardem.
Ooh.
I think he could play that role pretty well. Would obviously be different physicality, because he's not the big, huge guy that he is in the game.
He's probably like a good, yeah.
But this guy's like an absolute tank in the game. But I think his personality and what he could bring to it could be so menacing, like you've seen No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Just what he could bring.
Yeah. He can play a psychopath.
Yep, he can. He knows how to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's my first option.
Good job. Ooh. I've got another person who can definitely take it with the chops and can definitely play intriguing and quite chilling. It's Mads Mikkelsen.
He's always so good. He's just still. When I think of his acting performances, I think delicious. Yeah. Not just because of Hannibal, but just the way he is in the scene. He's just so good. He's just appetizing. Yeah. You just watch him and go, he's just owning this role. Yeah. I just love to watch him just perform.
Exactly.
So I love his lines in Doctor Strange. Yeah. Mr. Doctor, it's strange. Perhaps, but who am I to judge? So good.
And then he can also get that icy, it's the Nordic thing. You can just get that icy cold stare and yeah.
Yeah. He's also the bad guy in my favorite James Bond film, Casino Royale. That's the first time I ever saw him. The Chief. He's so good.
He's so good.
Keeps crying blood and this guy's just menacing while playing poker. And he's like, Mr. Bond, you seem to be having some trouble. And he's like poisoned them. And then that whole thing with the seat, the rope, just naked James Bond, and he's like whipping a rope with a ball end of it underneath his chair with no bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Simple, but yet effective. No, it's a really good, strong second choice. My second choice for Zoran, I'm not going to try and pronounce the last name again.
No, we'll just stick with Zoran.
So let's stick with Zoran. It's someone that's always good in a tough guy role. I don't know if you'd want him in this because he's been so many other ones, but I'm putting him in there. Tom Hardy.
Oh, yes.
As Zoran. He'd just have that character of menace.
Yeah.
And he could play the physical role, obviously, like Bane.
Have you seen Taboo?
No.
Where he's like, it's like 18th century England, and he's like this kind of slightly mystical sailor, and yeah, there's like a lot of menace and like violence kind of just brimming underneath, and good.
I haven't seen that, but I have seen him in Lock. It's just him in a movie for an hour and a half driving. It's about how his life has fallen apart on this drive from like London to like somewhere else in like an hour and a half, and like his wife's leaving him and other things are happening, but they're all happening through phone calls. He's just taking phone calls while he's driving, and that's the whole entire movie. Really, really good.
Like Buried.
Like Buried, as I've compared that and Buried very similar with Ryan Reynolds. One man shows with a phone, and you are captivated right through the whole movie.
Yeah. His role in Peaky Blinders is damn good too.
I've seen the first season of Peaky Blinders, but I haven't seen him.
Oh, you got to keep going.
Gotta keep going.
He's so good in it.
Sam Neill was pretty good in the first season. Shout out to Sam Neill.
Yep. Shout out Sam Neill.
So he's my second option.
Yeah. Good. So my second one is somebody who, as you said before, this guy, Lazarevich is a beast, and a physically imposing figure, and this is somebody who definitely has that. Maybe not have to fill out a bit, but he's definitely got the height and the acting chops. I haven't really seen him in a villain role before, so that could be quite good, a bit of an extension. And he's currently marauding through the the box office at the moment as the Northman, Alexander Skarsgård.
I actually liked him in Tarzan, The Legend of Tarzan. It was one a few years ago. It came out. It's like a sequel to the actual original Tarzan story.
Yeah.
He was in that too.
It's like later, and he
Yeah.
goes back to the jungle.
He does, yeah. It's like a brand new story. And like, I'm just impressed that they've finally
I've only
moved
ever
on.
seen the trailer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was good.
I just remember him like, like a cat, and he just kind of like purrs up against some lions, and it's like, okay.
But that was surprisingly good. So yeah, I've seen The Northman, obviously on the movies mode. I do want to see that. Yeah. It's also got Anya Taylor-Joy in it. Yeah. She's always phenomenal. Yeah. Saw her in Last Night in Soho recently. Very, very good.
Maybe we should have put her up for a Chloe.
We could have, but you can't have her in everything.
No, this is true.
Yeah. Yeah, Alexander Skarsgård.
Yep.
He's always good. His brother's not bad as Pennywise as well in it. And his father's pretty good in the MCU.
Oh, it's just the whole Skarsgårds.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Good choice. My third choice for Zoran is someone that's not been in a lot of films, but what I saw him in, pretty much one film. I've seen him in or two films. I think he's great, and he has got the build because he's got the size. Stefan Kapitic, Kapic. He plays Colossus in Deadpool.
Yeah. His face, yeah, definitely.
He could just have that presence.
Yeah.
Even the accent, like similar to Colossus, would work well for the role because I think he's of Slovenian or heritage as well.
Weirdly, he's German,
German, is he? Oh, okay.
but he knows 5 other languages.
He's foreign, so
He's just from, over there in those weird dark countries.
he's not American. It'll do.
Oh, no, his dad was Yugoslavian, so there we go.
There you go. Okay. If it's like Colossus but menacing, I could see that pretty well as well. I think he did a good job. Have you got a third choice, sir?
My third choice was a late one, and it was looking back through and just kind of thinking about who Zoran kind of makes me think of. And I went, this is the bald option.
The bald option.
But you always got to have a bald option. This guy rocks. He's been in everything. I don't know if he's been a bad guy before, but he's generally the protagonist rather than the antagonist.
It's Patrick Stewart in it.
Hey, if you're gonna take on Xavier, you better be ready because Xavier just put on muscle.
Him against Nathan.
It's also 80.
Beating up Nathan at the end.
Hey, that's what he gets from the Tree of Life. No, it's the old transporter himself, old lock stock, Jason Statham.
Not to mention Commonwealth Games diver.
Diver extraordinaire, yeah.
Yeah. Expendables. There's a scene where he's like, it's a Charisma Carpenter from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She has a husband or a boyfriend that's abusive, and he's playing basketball, and so Jason Statham walks up to him and like beats the crap out of him and his mates, and then grabs the basketball and punches it, and he goes, if I ever have to come back, I'm going to puncture all your balls. And he walks away. It shouldn't work, but it does. He doesn't have to act. And that's probably a good thing and a bad thing for him because it's just his persona.
Unfortunately, wouldn't be able to get that, that Balkan, accent or Russian or whatever he is. Because I don't think that Jason Statham can do anything other than just that Liverpudlian accent. If he puts enough menace into it, I don't think anybody would care.
Yeah, he's one of those ones that I talk about movie stars and actors. There's movie stars, like an actor can be a movie star, but a movie star isn't usually an actor. Yeah. Like Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel doesn't play anything else but Vin Diesel. Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. can play many different roles. So Vin Diesel's a movie star, or he was, and Robert Downey Jr. is an actor because he can actually play different personas and stuff. Jason Statham's a movie star, and he does it well. Yeah. Same as The Rock.
Yeah, that was the exact other person I was thinking of. Like, Dwayne Johnson is just Dwayne Johnson.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was pretty much that way too. He was a movie star. He wasn't an actor as such.
You can't imagine him in like a role in which people would be like, oh, I wonder what he's going to be doing. The range that he does is amazing.
Yeah, and people know what to expect, and you're going to get that. Paul Bettany was on a talk show, and Jason Statham was like, he didn't like how a lot of the stunt work and stuff was being done in MCU films. He goes, you know, they shouldn't have to have stunt doubles because, it should just be the actor doing it. And Paul Bettany goes, yeah, it's interesting because whenever Jason Statham has to act, you think they might have to get an acting double.
Pew, 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 pew.
Well done, sir. Well played. Jason Statham, you get what you get. I do like him and he's always menacing, so.
He's the bold option.
He is. If he's not doing fast movies or hanging out with The Rock. Commonwealth Games. So, out of those options, sir, do you have anyone you want to go forward for?
In my eyes, I think it's between Tom Hardy and Mads.
Tom Hardy and Mads?
I'd put forward Mads.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want me to respond?
Isn't that what we do? We go.
I was thinking about it. I was just trying to clear the air. I'd actually like to see Mads because it would be a different kind of role. In the game, as much as we talked about fleshed out characters, Zoran is probably the less fleshed out. He's kind of like, he's this big bad guy.
Yeah, he's just an authoritarian figure.
Mads would make him a lot more than what the role actually originally was.
Yeah, I think out of most of the options, he's the one with the biggest acting chops and the one who can really kind of like extract a lot out of the character. Well, again, no, they were saying that Tom Hardy could do as well.
He could do it as well, but I think Mads would bring a characteristic that no one else could bring.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm still hurt for Venom Let There Be Carnage. It was not the movie I was wanting.
Which is, again, another one that I've boycotted.
People ask me what I thought of Let There Be Carnage. Like, there shouldn't have been any way to mess up Carnage versus Venom. But they figured out a way. So we'll put for Mads Mikkelsen as number 2. Welcome, Mads.
Sorry, Tom, you shouldn't have tried to go Marvel.
Yeah. Would you CGI Mads at the end with all the power stuff, or would you just like have him with like Emperor powers? Absolute power!
But instead of a shrunken head, he would get younger. Do the old deep fake.
Right, so character 3, Ross, is Harry Flynn. He's a kind of
Old Harry.
supposed to be like the opposite of Nathan, but he's more Weasley. Yeah. Not Ron Weasley, but more Weasley like in the fact that, yeah, he just kind of like charms his way out of things and into things as well.
Yeah.
He's sneaky.
He's on shaky ground for everything, really.
He thinks he's smarter than he is. He thinks he's Nathan's equal, but he's not.
No, he's always going to be a number 2.
No. So your first option for Harry Flynn, Ross.
Harry Flynn, this was somebody that I've probably got cast a little bit older than what you'd find in the games, and somebody that maybe you wouldn't think of as snivelly or weaseling or anything, but is just a fantastic actor anyway. And that's Clive Owen.
He was actually in the first Uncharted game in our pitch.
Did we have him?
He was the bad guy. We cast him as the bad guy.
Oh, hey.
So he'll come back for a sequel.
Uh-oh.
Hey, he's always good though, Clive Owen. We also cast him in Mass Effect as Garrus.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Interesting kind of thing to Garrus. Yeah. Just because obviously he would have a lot of CGI makeup, but he'd have that voice. That trusting voice that I like. And so, yeah, Clive Owen's always good. We'll just have to make him different from the first.
All right, we're just going to have to forget what you did in the first one.
Forget he was in the first one and carry on for the second. Right, so for my first option for Harry Flynn, I've gone the same way as you for the first option. I've gone for someone who's older. But this guy is like someone that can play a weasel and just a rat and just a guy you want to punch pretty well. And no, it's not Paul Dano, but he's got one of those faces too. My first option for someone like Harry Flynn, but an older version, is Tim Roth.
Tim Roth, good.
Tim Roth, yeah. He's obviously been in The Incredible Hulk. Yeah. He's also in the famous scene at the start of Pulp Fiction, which he's always usually in the Tarantino films.
Reservoir Dogs.
He could play that role, just that I think I'm better than you smugness that I think Harry Flynn has. So that would be my first option.
Yes, I like that. I haven't seen him, Tim Roth, in much recently.
No, after his show Lie to Me finished.
Yeah.
I think he's in She-Hulk because he's come back as Abomination.
Oh, okay.
He's in that, but he's like, obviously Abomination he's devolved back to his normal character, so he's actually in it.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, that'll be good to see.
Option 2, Ross. For
Option 2, I've gone for somebody with great acting chops. This is somebody that I just think is awesome and definitely could take it in that sneaky way, but also be trusting, kind of like you see at the start. Yeah, going into Istanbul. And that is Idris Elba.
Another guy that you can cast him in anything. Yeah. I want him as Bond. Yeah. I don't care if he's only in 1 or 2 movies. Make him Bond. Yeah. Idris Elba. Yeah. Classic. Great. I saw him as Knuckles. I watched Sonic 2 recently as Knuckles, and even that, he kills that as well. Don't have to say much about him. If you don't know what he is, then just go watch The Wire. Go watch The Wire. Yes. Come back to us.
String a bell. Yeah. All day, baby. All day.
Watch a bit of Luther as well.
Don't watch Dark Tower.
Yeah, Luther and Wire. Anyway, so my second option.
Moving right along.
My second option for Harry Flynn is someone, again, I saw this guy and thought he actually looks like him. and he could play him really well. And he obviously has that smugness because of the previous roles he's been involved with, mainly in a Disney Plus show that's coming back for a second season very shortly. My second option for Harry Flynn is Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
He has that look.
We already know he's sneaky.
Yeah.
We already know he's sneaky.
Well, and so first Harry Flynn is like, he looks like Tom Hiddleston. Yeah. Like, he has that look. He may brown his hair up a little bit, make him a little different. But he could play that, I'm your friend. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Really, really well. Only thing I'd be concerned with is it may be too close to Loki.
Yeah. It kind of is a bit of typecast, but then he's so good at it.
Have you seen The Night Manager with him in it?
No.
Him and Hugh Laurie? It's really, really good.
Hugh
as well.
Laurie.
Hugh Laurie. Actually, Hugh Laurie got the rights for it years ago and sat on them for like 10 years before he got the right person to actually do it with. And then you got Tom Hiddleston. It's real good.
Ooh, yeah, I'm keen for that. I like that choice.
Have you got a third choice, sir?
Third choice. This one's out the gate, but again, I love the crap out
Kurt
of
Russell, out the gate.
right out the Stargate. Boom. No, this is somebody that he can bring the humor. He's hilarious. He's finally started to get quite a lot of attention and a lot of roles. I've been a fan of him since podcasting days.
Ooh, podcasting, eh? Bringing it back.
Yeah, he started out as a nerd.
Nerd alert.
Nerd alert, but then he got real buff.
Oh, is that the guy from Silicon Valley?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, I saw him in Obi-Wan recently as well.
Obi-Wan?
I liked him in that role too. Always welcome him in the movie for me. Yeah. Like he's in also Men in Black International. He plays a little bug guy.
Yeah, no, he did the Indoor Kids, which was a gaming podcast for years, since like 2015.
That movie he did about his life, I really liked too. Like, is it Sick or something?
The Big Sick.
The Big Sick. I really enjoyed that. I saw the movies with Kyla, actually. Our sister, if we can realise.
There's another Bennett.
Another Bennett. Yep. Kyla, shout out to Kyla.
Yep.
We watched it with her and that was really good. Yeah. And I didn't realise it was a true story until afterwards.
With his actual wife, Emily, yeah. Yeah, no, I love the crap out of Kumail Nanjiani. Any time that he speaks, I just think something great is going to come out. Yeah. And he can, he has that kind of like, and you can see it in Obi-Wan's, the role he plays there, where like, he's tricking and, he's faking being a Jedi kind of thing. It's a similar kind of thing where he could be like, hey, look, I'm your friend. Oh, yeah. Ha! No.
But also the thing of Harry is he going to redeem himself? You're like, through that game, you're always wondering, is he eventually going to redeem himself? It's another thing that Kamal brings is, yeah, he might be doing the wrong things, but it doesn't mean he's not going to eventually do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good choice. My third option is someone who's an incredible actor. He could play this role if he wanted to, and I think he could actually have a lot of fun with this role because usually he's known as a good guy. And recently he's very much loved. So it'd be interesting to have him as someone who's a good guy that turns into a bad guy. My third option for Harry Flynn is one of the Spider-Men himself, Andrew Garfield. I loved him in Tick, Tick, Boom. There's a movie on Netflix where he plays the guy who created the Broadway musical Rent.
Yes, haven't seen it.
I don't like musicals much. Like I watched the Disney films when I was a kid and still watch them now. They're great. But I don't really like musicals much. But I watched that and I was blown away.
Wow.
His performance is amazing. Like did he win the Oscar for it? I'm not sure. No, Will Smith did because he got it right. The night he slapped, he also won the Oscar. But I wanted Andrew Garfield to win that so much. Yeah, he's incredible.
Also, the Ballad of Tammy Dukes?
Is that the one who plays the con artist?
Yeah, the religious con artist. Yeah. He's like 60 or something, but like, yeah, no, that's good.
Also the one where he plays the medical doctor that goes to war and refuses to carry a gun.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, okay.
He plays like a military or medic, refuses to carry a gun because he doesn't want to create more pain, but he only wants to save it. So he'll just not carry a gun during wartime and how he saves other people. Nominated for an Oscar for it. And yeah, Andrew Garfield is one of those actors that's way better than I think he got credit for a lot of his life, but now I'm starting to get it. If I didn't have Tom Hiddleston already on there, he would be like the person I'd probably go with.
Yeah. Ooh, you got some good choices.
Tim Roth, Tom Hiddleston, Andrew Garfield. We got Kamal in there as well. Clive Owen, who's already played a role. We could just put a wig on him. It'd be fine.
Put a wig on him. It'll be fine. I think from the choices that we've got here, I really like Tom.
Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah.
It's the one I looked at Harry Flynn and saw Tom Hiddleston straight away.
Yep. Yep.
So I think he's the perfect package.
Yep, I agree.
So the only thing is downside was he may be a bit Loki-ish, but it doesn't have to be.
And not being in a, not being in the MCU will hopefully be enough to kind of separate from that character.
Yeah, I'd give him lighter hair as well. Maybe like a light brown hair rather than the black hair.
Yeah, yeah.
A haircut as well, so it's not as long.
I could do slicked back. Slicked back is cool.
Slick back's always cool. But...
Yeah.
Okay, Tom Hiddleston is confirmed as Harry Flynn. Our next option is a smaller role, but I was like, oh, I'm going to cast him anyway. It's for Jeff, Elena's cameraman. Like he's in it for a couple of scenes.
Jeff the camera guy.
Jeff the camera guy, but I think it'd be kind of cool to have someone of note playing him, because that way you won't expect the shock of him dying so quickly. Unless you want to keep him on, you could always do that in your role. My first choice for Jeff the camera guy is an actor that has been in sitcoms a lot, but not so much in any bigger roles. He was in a couple of Netflix things that are quite good as well. He kind of was annoying, but also very, very popular in his role. But it's it'd be kind of cool to have him in this kind of like completely different kind of character role. My first option for Jeff, the camera guy, is Jim Parsons from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah. Damn, that's a good one.
And he could be completely different to his character in Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He's in the Ted Bundy Netflix show as well.
As the lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was really good as that.
The Muppets movie, I'm thinking he does a song solo.
Jim Parsons, good choice.
So your first choice, sirs.
Okay, so my first one has come from somebody that he's a great actor. I think he's hilarious and is great in everything I see him in. You might know him as Jerry from Rick and Morty. You might know him as Dr. Spaceman from 30 Rock.
He also voiced the narrator in the Shark game, where you play the shark.
Oh, a Manhunter?
Manhunter. He was like the documentary. He was a documentary
Really?
guy that was voicing over the whole thing.
And that is Chris Parnell, a great character actor who, can kind of bring in a little bit of humor, but also if he dies, you kind of go like,
Yeah, it's like he's not going to take over the movie, but it's sad when you lose him.
You're like, hey, that guy's good. Yeah. Oh, he's gone.
But there'll be plenty more Jerrys, so that'll be fine.
Yeah, I love him as Leo Spaceman in 30 Rock.
30 Rock's underrated.
Oh, no, it's rated.
I think it was underrated because no one talks about it anymore.
I don't know why. They should.
Alec Baldwin, it was great in it.
Amazing.
Tracy Morgan, like the last good thing he did.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, he was in the Scoob movie as well, and he played Captain Caveman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was great.
Good old Trace. There's a series that he put out on Apple Plus. It's like Dude from the Hood or something like that.
Rather than Boys from the Hood, kind of rip off that.
Yeah, I'm butchering the name. It's okay. Yeah. Chris Parnell. Chris Parnell is who we want.
All right, my second option. He's someone that's in the Baywatch movie. He's also in a series of movies called Neighbours in America, but otherwise known as Bad Neighbours for us. Was in this little thing called High School Musical as well.
What's that?
It's a thing that happened years ago. My second choice for Jeff, just a kind of quick short role, and you go, it's him, is Zac Efron.
Zac
Efron could play a good, just kind of in and out kind of role.
I'm okay with him getting shot too.
Yeah. Or if you wanted to carry him on to the rest of the film, you could have Jeff with them.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, this is true.
As well, he doesn't have to die, but it's someone that, if he could make a Bill Murray kind of appearance, like in Zombieland, he could do that. He could do well. Zac Efron.
Yeah. All right.
Have you got a second option, sir?
Second option for me is, again, another, love the crap out of this guy. Also, kind of a character actor, somebody who also has got humor, and you're going to go, that guy has a very distinctive voice. And that's Paul F. Tompkins. I know him from Comedy Bang Bang. Does a lot with the Airwolf people. Lauren Lapkus and fantastic. Usually has a moustache.
Moustache? Yeah, the thing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really good at improv. And I just like him.
It'd be a kind of good guy just to kind of like take a scene and kind of use it, elevate it, and then kind of go, I'm out, guys.
Yep.
This guy's really great. Let's stick with him. Oh, anyway. Okay. Nope. I don't know too much about him, so I'd have to see him in the role. But hey, I trust your opinion. So, interesting. Yeah. My third option for a Jeff kind of role is someone that I've just watched a TV show recently called Winning Time. It's about the rise of the LA Lakers.
The Lakers.
Very good. Actually, some of the roles are hilarious in it. My third option is the person who actually plays Magic Johnson in that show. I think he does a very good role. He looks like Magic Johnson as well. It's crazy how much he looks like him. I'm like, my God, they just went back in time and got Magic Johnson to play Magic Johnson. Quincy Isaiah is his name. I think it'd be kind of cool just to have him in this kind of role, like bring him into movies this way. Yeah. Have like a scene in Despair.
Yeah, up and coming actor.
You might go look to see what else he does, and you watch Winning Time. As long as you're over 18, it's a good TV show. Sorry, Quincy Isaiah.
No third for me.
No third for you. All right, so we've got the options of Jim Parsons, Zac Efron, Quincy Isaiah, and
Chris Parnell and Paul F. Tompkins.
Who have you got for your option? Who would you want to go through one?
I'm torn between Jim and Zach. I think I'd go Zach.
You go Zac Efron?
Yeah.
He is very much a personality that you'd be sad to lose him. Or if you want to expand the role, he could do it really well too.
And you can kind of see him as like a wartime cameraman.
Zac Efron was probably one of the ones I'd look at as well. I was kind of like, I like him everything he does. That's why I put him down as an option. Let's go with them. All right, confirmed casting. Zac Efron, you are Zach the cameraman. We'll let you know how long you're going to be in the movie or TV show for. Could be an episode or two. Could be 5 minutes.
Depends how well you screen test.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we don't know who you are.
Right, so the next one is going to be a tough one because it's Tenzin the Mountain Sherpa.
Yeah, this one was tough.
I was thinking about, do we have him not and then like completely cut out the Tenzin character and just kind of move straight into the big baddie and stuff? But I was like, no, Tenzin's such a special character in this game. When I think back at it, like towards the end, I was like, man, Tenzin was great. And I enjoyed the missions with him, so we've got to add him in there somehow.
And there's also that great, like, kind of riff with, Nate and him where he's just trying to figure out what the heck he's saying and, you know, in Nepali.
Yeah.
And he's just like, huh?
Yeah, that banter they have between each other when they're like on that mission is really cool. And also, he brings a bit of heart and like a bit of a reason to why they do what they do at the end as well. Reminds them why they need to actually save the world. Who's your first option, sir?
Yeah, so there are very few Nepali actors.
That's what I did as well. I looked up Nepali actors.
And it was like, well, yeah, you can't really. This is one of the ones where you kind of have to stick with. You can't whitewash.
Well, we could go Ben Kingsley. He can do it, right?
He can do it. Apparently, he did Gandhi. You might as well. Yeah.
Him, or you could also get Cliff Curtis.
Yeah. Oh, Cliff can be anybody.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So my one is he apparently did a really great Nepali movie about being under Chinese rule and like how they're Tibetan. I've been saying Nepal. Yeah. Sorry. Tibet, yeah.
I said Nepal too, sorry.
Yeah.
Nepalese.
It's those mountainous areas. Did a really great movie that was about, like Tibet, what it means to be Tibetan and but then also to have this Chinese communist rule trying to smush you down. And so it's a guy called Shavo Dorji who was in, the movie was called Pawo. When you see him, you'll be like, they might have even just got him to be the CGI actor.
Oh, yep. I can see him as Tenzin, that picture there. That's pretty much Tenzin on the beaten up. I can just see the similarities and the characteristics of the character. And you see his like really strong performance in that movie.
Yeah, no, he's good in that.
No, I can definitely see it. Yeah. That picture alone, yeah. The one where he's just looking down and the fringes coming down. Yeah. It looks like Tenzin. My first option, someone I looked up because I went with someone who had Nepal kind of all close to Nepalese kind of heritage. I didn't want to whitewash, like you say. Definitely did not want to have Sir Ben Kingsley in this one. My first person I've gone for is Anup Baral. He's been in mostly non-American or international films. Nothing in Hollywood so much. He's been more in Nepalese movies. Right through from Lakshya, Kagbini, Dasanga, one called Fanko that came out recently as well. But yeah, he's just someone like he has almost a menacing look. I thought that could play well, thinking that you might think he's someone who's actually evil at first, but actually turns out to be his friend. It turns out to be more like a kind of guy. Wasn't going for the type of person you see in the actual game. I was going for more someone that you'd probably assume that was another bad guy after something, but turned out to be one of the good guys. Like in the game, Nathan's unconscious. He comes and saves him in the snow. So if you first saw him arriving, you'd think, he's come to capture him. So that was my first one. So Anup Baral was my first option. Do you have a second option, sir?
Nope.
No,
There's precious few.
everything on Chavo.
Yeah.
My second option then for a actor to play Tenzin in Uncharted 2, I've gone for Deepak Rajguri, Nepali actor as well, director and producer. Again, he's been in Nepalese movies rather than in any Hollywood productions or anything less Western kind of roles. But when I saw him in the picture here, I was like, yeah, I could see him as Tenzin.
Oh, yeah.
Being 53 years old as well. He's kind of an older soul. Like, I think Tenzin feels like he's more an older soul than a younger man.
Well, he's got a family and
He's got a family, but
he's established.
and plus, being that he's up in the mountains, maybe it's just that's making him look more weathered, more older. So I thought if I had an older actor playing him, they could kind of have that look of the more weathered, up in the mountains kind of guy. So yeah, he was my second option. And my third option for a actor, I hope I'm not butchering these guys' names. I apologize if I am. I'm trying to pronounce it the best I can. The third option I've got is Jaswant Dev Shrestha, the 6-time Emmy nominated documentarian from National Academy of Television Arts. Quite a lot of work as voice acting and stuff as well. Yeah, so here's my third option. But as soon as I saw the picture of Chavo Dorji, I thought he'd be like the perfect guy that I would probably cast as well.
And also, like, just reading through, even though that in Nepal with all the temples and things, they actually end up in Tibet. Well, like, he's a Tibetan Sherpa. So, like, out of all those, even though you've got lots of Nepalese characters, the Chavo guy is, like, he's the only one that's actually Tibetan. So, you get authenticity there, as well as he just happens to look just like the video game character. Yeah.
No, it's I think it's perfect casting. I think it is all my characters.
Can I petition for another one?
You can petition for another one. Oh, yes, I've got room here.
Yep. And that's for Schaefer.
Schaefer?
The old guy in the mountains.
I'm narrowing about including him in the in this, but I was like, I didn't because I was like worried that like he's in it towards the end, but he's not in a huge chunk. And I was like, I've already got all these actors, that's why I was kind of like, do I cast or not cast? But you want to go for Schaefer?
Yeah, I'd like, the more I think about his character, it's like he is actually he's quite important. He's somebody that's been on the same journey as Drake previously.
He tried to go for the expedition years ago, didn't he?
Yeah. For Carl Schaefer, I've got 3. So first one is, if he came up, you'd be like, okay, this is good. He's extremely well known. You'd look at him and go, yes, I can imagine why you'd only have a little bit part here. It's Michael Caine.
Michael Caine?
Michael Caine.
I could see that.
Alfred himself, Christopher Nolan aficionado.
But he's always perfect, and he'd have that perfect kind of British gentleman you would get from that kind of role, and I could see him kind of just chewing it up and just making an appearance. People were like, it's Michael Caine.
Michael Caine turns up, you're just like,
you automatically like him. It's like,
great.
Yeah, I believe he's here to help me.
Yeah. Second one, unless you've got somebody you want to put.
I've actually got, as I was looking at the picture here, I've got someone that I would actually recommend. Even though I didn't have anyone written down for this, I've already got someone in line that I would go for. This person has been in some of Hollywood's biggest movies, but hasn't really done anything lately. And as soon as I saw the picture of Carl Schaefer, I was like, this guy kind of looks like him as well. He was great. Even in bad movies, he's great. Well, not bad movies, but cheesy movies, he's great. He was in a little movie called Hollander. He was also in a little movie called Mortal Kombat as Raiden. Christophe Lambert.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he looks like Schaefer. Like, look at it.
Yeah. I would have even thought of him. Yeah. Nice.
Christophe Lambert is my first option.
I always thought it was Christopher Lambert.
It was Christopher Lambert. Well, that's what I thought too, but he's actually French.
Is he French?
He's French. And he called himself Christopher Lambert because it was easy to get roles. Easy to get roles, you'd get roles as Christopher Lambert, but it actually was watching a Mortal Kombat, a documentary 20 years later or something for the movie came out, and Paul W. Sanderson was calling him Christophe. And he's known as Christophe Lambert, but he called himself Christopher Lambert. And I always thought it was Lambert too, but Christophe Lambert, there you go, is my first option.
This is going to be a weird segue. Okay. My second choice, also a Christophe.
Oh, okay. Oh, I feel Django Unchained feelings going here.
Yes,
maybe,
yes, bit of Django, bit of Inglorious. Yep. It's a Christoph Waltz.
I was also good in the latest James Bond as well. He was in Spectre mainly. Yeah. And he was great in that as the big baddie and that as well. So
I haven't seen those.
Yeah. He's good in that.
Have Prime, and I keep on thinking I should go through the James one because I haven't seen anything since like Quantum of Solace.
Quantum wasn't great. Like Skyfall's good. Spectre's okay if you watch that back to back with No Time to Die, because it's pretty much a part 1, part 2 thing going on. Watch them together, it's better. Otherwise, when I watched Spectre, I was like, I left kind of wanting. Then I watched the parts of No Time to Die, and I was like, this makes the first one so much better. Yeah, I can definitely see him in that role as well.
Third one is somebody that is a fantastic character actor. Haven't seen him in much lately. You can kind of imagine him as being an ex-adventurer, and that's William Fichtner. He was in Prison Break. Like, the sort of guy you look at him and you go, oh yeah, I know where you're from.
Oh, he's also in The Dark Knight.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, William Fichtner. Yeah, Fichtner. Yeah, he played he was going to play Shredder in their Ninja Turtles, but they bailed out when people were like, he can't play Shredder. He must be Japanese. And they went, oh, no, he's not Shredder. He's just like his associate. I liked him in Prison Break. I really liked
he was great in Prison Break. Yeah.
He was great in that. And there's one scene in Dark Knight, again.
Because he's
the bank manager.
Yeah.
With the shotgun. Do you realize who you're stealing from?
Yeah. Great character actor. Be good to see him in something again.
Yeah, he's always good. I can see him there. I've actually got another choice just because I was looking up and I was like, this would be really cool. It's way off there. When you hear it, you might go, what? This is crazy. I would age him up to make him look older, but this would be like the perfect thing for someone to believe that he was actually up in the mountains and someone that used to be an adventurer. My second option is Bear Grylls. Age him up.
Yeah.
Talking about how, I used to be an adventurer like you.
Till I took an arrow to the knee.
I used to do all this stuff, I used to be he is Nathan Drake in real life, because he's obviously not an actor as much. He's more obviously a documentary guy, but I think he could play this role just as in one scene.
Yeah.
And age him up. Bear Grylls.
Yeah.
Is just as a wow kind of approach to it.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. So that's my second choice. Yeah, so some interesting choices anyway. So Ross, do you have anyone you want to nominate for Carl Schaefer?
For
me, it's between tried and true or just the interestingness of it. I'd say between Bear Grylls or Michael Caine.
Yeah.
I think Michael Caine, if you're a safe bet and you wanted someone who just will blow the roll out of the water, or do you want to go for someone that's people would see the inside joke and kind of go, because he is an adventurer.
Yeah.
For me, he's almost the real life version of Nathan Drake.
Yeah, I like that little in joke. Yeah. I think that's quite cool. I would have gone with Christoph Waltz because just the German background. Mr. Schaefer. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll go Waltz because I think Bear Grylls would be too much of a joke. People would go, it's funny, but it'd take you out of the scene at the moment.
Yeah.
Rather Caine or Waltz, pretty much. I don't mind either or. The thing about Michael Caine is, I'm not sure, because he's getting older. I think he's retired from acting potentially as well.
Probably. He's probably mid-70s.
So Waltz is probably the bet that you'd probably be able to get him as well. So I can take Christoph Waltz.
Yep.
Sorry, Christoph Lambert, but hopefully we'll see you as Raiden again one day. Christoph Waltz. There we go. For one, an extra added on person for the first time on the show. It's good. Maybe think on the fly and kind of think, as I'm listening, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Just picking up things you're saying. And as soon as I saw the picture for Christoph Lambert, and then you said adventurer, I was like, Bear Grylls. Yeah. Of course, he's the ultimate adventurer. Some strong choices. I like that. I'm glad we did it.
Sweet.
Right, so let's go through our confirmed characters, shall we? For Chloe Fraser, we have cast Elodie Young. For Zoran, I'm not going to say the last name, Lazarevich. We've got Mads Mikkelsen.
Who's coming after you now for butchering
his
last name.
He is. He'll come off in a little push bike on that beer ad, where he's like, Danish have always prided themselves on great beer. And he's
never seen that.
You've seen the ad? He's like, no. Got a bicycle, and he's like, yeah, some beer. That ruined the joke. Thanks. So Harry Flynn, we've cast Tom Hiddleston. For Jeff, Elena's cameraman, we have cast Zac Efron. For Tenzin, the mountain Sherpa, we have cast Shavo Dorji. And for Carl Schaefer, surprise mystery, Carl Schaefer, we have cast Christoph Waltz.
Good old mystery guest number 4.
And even though he's in more of the movie, Christoph Waltz, than just the first scene for Inglourious Basterds, that first scene is so good that he shows you how much he can just steal one scene.
So it's the modern day version of the Heat De Niro Pacino scene.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I love that scene.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it again soon. I haven't watched Heat in a few years. I must see it once more. Right, so that's our cast for Uncharted 2 TV show or movie? Shall we move on to the pictures, Ross?
Let's get on.
Nobody does it, Bennett. Maha!
Right, so we're here now with the pitches for our movie or TV show, Ross. Before we go to our actual pitches, let's talk about what formats we've got. So, are you sticking with the movie? Because last time you were movie, last time you were TV show. Sorry, are you sticking with TV show? Are we going to movie or
No, I think I'm going to switch to a movie.
switch to movie?
I think it can be done, and especially now that we can get to hour and a half, 2 hours is kind of your standard. 117 minutes, you can probably get everything in there.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm sticking with the movie as well. I had movie last time, and the thing about Uncharted is because the effects, and especially in Uncharted 2. The way it's kind of cinematic and stuff, you can't almost do that in a TV show. You'd have to almost, I guess with Disney Plus and stuff now, they're amping up the budgets and stuff more and more. But just the mayhem wouldn't be feeling the same if it was over 5 or 6 episodes or more than it would be in an hour and a half, 2 hour movie where it's just a full on ride. Uncharted 2, I think, needs that kind of just full on adrenaline.
And also, the story doesn't need fleshing out. You don't need to go 40 minutes to expand a lot of the stuff. And I mean, in some of the stuff, you can actually even trim it down. Probably is going to benefit from it being a bit more tighter and, really just kind of zeroing in on what are the key info, key scenes.
Fair enough. Do you want to go first or second with your pitch, sir?
You go first.
I'll go first. Cool. So I've got my format as a movie. The runtime I put here is 120 minutes, approx, 2 hours. Live action as well. Definitely live action. Movie starts with Nathan hanging from a wrecked train carriage that is hanging off the side of a snowy mountain. The shot will follow a near-death Nathan as he ascends the train carriages in his attempt not to be on it when it eventually falls off the mountain below. Nathan will jump out of the final carriage and onto the cliff. Once realizing he is safe, Nathan will collapse from exhaustion. He lies unconscious in a heavy snowstorm. The shot will pan up from Nathan's body and up into the snowy sky, and the title will appear with a harrowing version of the main theme, because in the game it's got do-do-do-do-do, but it's got a
Like an octave down kind of thing.
Yeah. And then kind of go Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. The shot will then transition from the snowy sky to a blue sky above a tropical island. 3 months earlier, Nathan is at a local bar when he runs into Harry Flynn, an old friend of Nate's. Harry wants to break into a high-security museum to acquire a certain artifact. Harry has to come to Nate, as he was the only person who's successfully broken into that place and got out alive. Nathan is very hesitant and says how it is at least a 3-person job. Harry says how he has a partner already. Chloe appears at the table. Chloe introduces herself to Nate. The artifact they have been hired to grab is a Mongolian oil lamp. Nate doesn't get it, as it doesn't look to be worth much. Harry also gives Nate a letter written by Marco Polo. The letter tells of Marco Polo's legendary missing fleet, thought to hold great treasures. Nate now knows that the oil lamp must lead to the fleets. Nate agrees to join the team. Harry leaves the bar to inform his client. Chloe stays behind with Nate. This is where you find out that Chloe and Nate actually have a history. So, obviously it's going very much like the story of the game, and that's what we're doing here. Yeah, I'm just kind of picking and choosing the bits that we're going to have. Chloe says to Nathan that Harry doesn't and can't know about their past. Seems like Nate and Chloe have been very close prior to this. They get close again later on, you know what I mean? Yeah. Cut to Nate, Chloe and Harry on their heist mission. This scene will involve sneaking around the museum and avoiding armed guards. Harry and Nate will find the oil lamp in a security glass case. So in the game, it's the whole thing where you're going around and you got to tranquilize them and everything. Just going to skip all that. It's just going to have them sneaking in straight to the museum. Harry and Nate find the oil lamp in a security glass case. Once Harry unlocks the case, Nate smashes the lamp, which reveals what looks to be a blank-looking piece of old cloth inside.
Mm-hmm.
Harry looks at the cloth in despair, while Nate has a closer look at the broken pieces of the oil lamp. Bits of the lamp appear to be glowing. Nate lights the glowing bits of lamp, which creates a blue flame.
Resin.
They then place the cloth over the flame, which reveals a secret map on the cloth and a message from Marco Polo. The message mentions Shambhala!
Shambhala!
Marco Polo finds Shambhala! Sorry, I should probably change it to normal Shambhala. Marco Polo found Shambhala, Shangri-La, the lost city of gold. As they are looking to escape, Harry betrays Nate. I put here 8 because my word changed it from Nate to 8. Harry betrays Nate, leaving him behind in a room without a way out. Harry sets off a nearby alarm. Cue an action sequence when Nate runs and escapes guards while climbing walls, setting off explosions, the usual Uncharted stuff. Nate looks like he's about to escape when he's surrounded by guards. Cut to Nate in prison. This will be the introduction of Sully as Sully arrives at his cell door. And I can imagine Bruce Campbell. Like, you probably hear Bruce Campbell before you see him. Nate asks Sully how he found him. Chloe appears at the cell door. As Nate is having a hard time trusting Chloe, Sully tells him that Harry and Zoran have found the ships, but not the stone from Shambhala. Nate, Chloe, and Sully start researching the stone. The three devise a plan to chase after Harry and Zoran and steal the stone from right under their noses. All while Chloe keeps her cover in Harry's team. Nate and Sully will see how brutal Zoran is. This is a scene where he'll just brutalize one of his own men, like it is in the game, but I'll make it probably more brutal, just to show you how powerful and how he's not to be messed with. Nate and Sully discover that Marco Polo never took the stone, so Zoran is looking for Shambhala itself. As Nate, Sully, and Chloe search, they come across a hidden cave that houses a golden spear head-like dagger. That what Marco Polo calls a tool that leads the way to Shambhala.
The Perna.
It's a dagger in it, sort of thing in it.
It's a Perna.
It's a Perna, is it?
Yep.
Ah, they didn't mention Perna in the game. They called it a dagger.
No, they
called it Perna?
Yep, the Chintamani Perna.
Didn't even pick it up. Sorry.
Come on, man.
Might as well stop now. There is also a map that leads to Nepal. Chloe turns on Nate and Sully when they exit the cave as Harry is nearby. Only done so Chloe can keep up appearances. But she does need to show Harry the map, which means the bad guys know where to go to next. A convenient plot thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have them just going by themselves, otherwise the movie will be over very quickly. Cut to Nate in Nepal. Zoran has ignited the civil war. This way he can search the city, all while there is fighting going on, so he can go through undetected and find the temple. Nate runs back into Chloe. They use the dagger to search for the temple. There will be a huge action scene here involving Nate jumping from rooftop to rooftop while a Black Hawk helicopter shoots at him, creating the buildings to be destroyed around Nate. After Nate blows up the helicopter and is very nervous, he runs into Elena and her cameraman Jeff, almost killing Jeff in the process. Elena is in the pool searching for Zoran. Nate thinks he's dead, but Elena knows otherwise. Now Elena has figured out by Nate's bad lying face that he is also involved in Zoran's mess. She decides to go along with him, although Chloe doesn't want her to. Ooh, love triangle.
Also, there's a attack helicopter that's kind of forcing them.
Yes, that's the real reason why eyebrows are raising. Yeah, that's there. The group find the temple and discover a room that gives them the location to the entrance to Shambhala. It is located up in the Himalayan mountains. Nate, Chloe, Jeff, and Elena are then in a massive gun battle with some of Zoran's men. Jeff gets shot in the process.
Classic Jeff.
Classic Jeff. Jeff's camera gets busted in the process, so they've got no video footage of all this.
Classic Jeff.
Chloe wants to leave Jeff behind as he will slow them down, but Nate refuses to. Cue a montage of the group making their way through a war-torn city in Nepal. Jeff then collapses. Chloe says how he can't go any further. Nate says for Chloe to go as he is not leaving Jeff to die. And Chloe says, "You don't always have to be the bloody hero." The group can hear Harry and some of the men arriving at their location. Chloe then points her gun at Nate yet again to keep up appearances. Nate comes face to face with Zoran. Zoran takes the dagger from Nathan, then shoots Jeff right in front of Elena. So they did all that, carrying him for nothing.
Zach.
Classic Jeff. Zoran also takes Nate's map and tells Harry to finish Nathan and Elena off. Elena then crystals over Jeff's body because it's, again, why would it be cries when it can be crystal?
Billy Crystals.
Mike Wazowski. Elena then cries over Jeff's body. When Harry goes to grab her, she spins around and punches Harry and tells Nate to run. See? She uses Jeff as an opportunity to escape. Shows you that she's not just a damsel crying over her body. She, in fact, used that to her own advantage.
And Jeff died not in vain.
He didn't. He saved their lives. Classic Jeff. This will start a chase action sequence of Elena and Nate evading capture, stealing a jeep and driving up the train that Zoran is on as it's taking off. Nate jumps onto the train. Nate will battle some of Zoran's soldiers before coming to the carriage that has the dagger in it. It seems unattended. Nate goes to grab it, but is grabbed by a very large dude. There's always a very large dude when it comes to trains, who throws Nate around. Just as it looks like Nate is going to die, though, Chloe shows up and shoots the guy. Then tells Nate to get off the train. Nate says not without her. Chloe says that Nate made his choice and chose Elena over her. I think he chose Elena. He just chose not to have the person to die, you know? He chose the right way over the wrong way. As they're talking, Nate is shot in the ribs. It's Harry. Harry goes to shoot him again, but Chloe stops him. Nate runs away to another carriage, bleeding out from his wound. Harry sends men after Nate. Nate sits down by a seat, looking defeated. As the men close in on him, though, Nate just smiles. Here goes nothing. That's what Nate would say. Nate shoots at some barrels that are right by the door, which blows the men away. It also blows the carriages off the train and sends them crashing off the rails.
Whatever could this lead to?
We are now back to where Nate was at the start of the film, hanging from the carriage on the side of a mountain. It quickly montages Nate's climbing back up the carriage scene again and passing out in the snow. A Sherpa shows up at Nathan's location. Cut to Nate waking up in a Sherpa village. He is greeted by his saviour, Tenzin.
Tenzin!
Yeah. Nate is led to another house in the village where he is greeted by Elena. She came to the village in search of Nathan. When she realised Nate was there, but still unconscious, she spent several days getting to know the people. So this is where I guess you'd add in Carl as well, Schaefer, and you could have a scene with Nathan learning about the history of what Carl learnt when he's up there and where the location and stuff probably is and where he looked and failed, but I haven't got him in here. So.
There's one of my favourite parts in that thing where Elena starts talking to Tenzin in the Tibetan language. And you see the subtle, like, just look of confusion on Nate's face, and he's just like,
When did you learn that?
What the? How the?
When did you learn that?
Yeah, it's like a really subtle thing, and like it's something that you don't see in video games, and it was fantastic. I love it.
Just the little nuances that
Yeah.
you get. Nate says, though, how he's done going after Shambhala. I'm done playing the hero. Nate soon finds out, though, that Zoran can't get the stone, as the stone itself is true power. Some of the greatest conquerors, Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, possessed mere slithers of the stone and did horrendous things. Just imagine what Zoran could do with the whole thing. Nate says the stone is just a myth. Elena says, but what if it's not? Are you really wanting to take the chance that Zoran gets the power, especially knowing that you could have stopped them? That's what convinces Nathan, is that imagine if he gets the power and you knew that you could have stopped it. And that'll be enough, because he's a hero, that's enough to get him going. The music will be like, all right then. Nate and Elena sneak into the monastery, which is where the entrance to Shambhala is located. Zoran's men are there, but they evade them and locate the entrance. They use the dagger to open the entrance. As they do, though, they are ambushed by Zoran's men. They were baiting them to go to the entrance. Why, try and figure it out themselves when they know Nathan's probably going to figure it out for them?
You always get a mouse to lead you to it.
That's right. Zoran baited Nate as he saw him approaching in the monastery. Zoran threatens to kill Elena if he doesn't go down the stairs and into the entrance first. The way we've written Zoran here is a bit smarter too, so it's good we got Mads, because he could pull it off really well. You could believe that he can think one step ahead of Nathan.
He's like, I know where you're gonna trick me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, minimize.
This guy doesn't die, so no, he'll come back.
Yeah.
Nate tells Zoran that they will get nothing from him if they hurt Elena. Zoran then says that he will then add another bargaining chip. Harry shows up with a gun to Chloe's head. Nate agrees to go down into the entrance into the mountain. Nate helps Zoran and Harry solve some puzzles, of course by threatening Chloe and Elena. As Nate is solving the puzzle, some of Zoran's men are taken out by a large, furry creature. The creature takes out 12 men before it's finally put down.
It's a yeti.
Zoran then removes a mask off the creature. It almost looks human, but with bright veins running through its face and glowing blue eyes. The gate opens to a bright golden glow. The city of Shambhala.
Shambhala!
As Nate looks upon the city, Zoran turns his gun to Nate. I wanted you to see the city, then as you lay dying, knowing I had taken it from you. As Nate and Elena are putting on their knees, as Nate and Elena are put to their knees, Zoran's men start getting taken out by blow darts. A whole group of the glowing warriors show up, taking out Zoran's men. Nate, Chloe, and Elena escape in the chaos. The team regroup and figure out how to get into the city to stop Zoran from getting the stone. Nate and the group manage to get their way to the room that has the stone, but something is not right. Nate says, Marco Polo has it wrong. It's not a sapphire. It's amber. Fossilized resin. Tree sap. This tree, it's the tree of life. The sap gives power. Chloe's like, this tree? pointing at the one that's in the room.
Which is a pretty fantastic tree.
And it's a beautiful looking tree. It reminds me of the tree in Lord of the Rings, the white tree in the courtyard.
Yep.
And of course in Gondor. Gondor. So Chloe points to that tree and Nate goes, no, that one. Nate points to a massive tree outside the window.
It is gigantic.
And again, it reminds me of Lord of the Rings, the forest elves. It's like two different Lord of the Rings movies.
Like the Ents?
When they're going through the forest after the Mines of Moria, and they're going to the trees like to see the elves.
Yep.
They have giant trees like that.
Yeah, true.
They use binoculars to see that Zoran is heading down to the tree already. Harry then speaks, lying beside a nearby pillar. He's been shot. Zoran no longer required his services. Harry pulls out a grenade, trying to take Nate and the group out. Nate gets up after the explosion to see that Elena is badly injured. Chloe says that she'll get Elena out. He needs to go after Zoran. Nate gets down to the tree just in time to see Zoran drink the tree sap. I wonder, Ross, what does it taste like?
I can imagine it's really like viscous.
It's gummy.
Yeah.
It's almost chewy.
Like
yeah.
It would be like bad maple syrup.
I think it'd be a mixture of glue and blue tack. Just the texture of like PVA glue.
Yeah.
But like the taste of what I imagine blue tack would taste like.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah.
It's blueberries.
Or it could be like juicy fruit. For like 30 seconds, it tastes fine, but then you just taste nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
Juicy fruit. Get longer tasting, all right? Therapy heals the scars on... Therapy. The tree, I suppose, but I guess. Therapy heals the scars. Well, sometimes it does.
I mean, true.
Yeah, it can.
Mental scars.
Yeah. The tree sap heals the scars on Zoran's face. It also gives him super senses. He knows that Nathan is there. Nate shoots Zoran, but nothing seems to happen. So Nate unloads a whole clip. Nothing. Nate then decides to run. As he's running, he shoots a pocket of the glowing resin. It explodes and knocks Zoran down. But Zoran gets back up and continues walking towards Nathan, Terminator style. So Nate realizes he has to keep running around the tree, blowing up the resin, knocking down Zoran each time. Each time he does it, though, Zoran gets weaker and weaker. Zoran then falls to his knees by the pool of sap. Nate points a gun at Zoran, and he goes, good boy, do it. Do it. Like the Emperor, do it. Good boy, do it. Only the merciless survive. And Nate then puts his gun down. You don't have the strength to do what is necessary. Nate goes, maybe not. But they do. Suddenly there's a group of those glowing warriors that surround Zoran. You can hear him screaming as Nate walks away. Be a good Nathan kind of situation there.
Mm-hmm. You reap what you sow.
Well, it's like Batman Begins. I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you either. And then he just leaves. And that's the thing. It's like, I won't kill you, but I don't have to stop those guys. Due to all the resin explosions, the city starts to crumble around Nate. He runs back over the bridge as it collapses behind him. This will be a scene where you see him running from the back, and it's like things you have to jump and stuff as it goes along. Once Nate gets to safety of the gates, he watches as Shambhala falls to pieces. Nate meets up with Chloe and a very injured Elena and escapes. Chloe says, what the hell did you do back there? And Nate says, well, save the world. Nate keeps telling Elena to hold on as she seems to be slipping away. Cut to some time later. Nate is in the Sherpa village. Chloe comes up to him and says her goodbyes to him. Chloe tells Nate to tell Elena how he feels about her. Elena comes down the some stairs, being helped by a cigar-smoking Sully. Sully and Nate banter for a moment before making an exit. Nathan and Elena are left alone as they chat for a moment before kissing with the mountains in the background. End of pitch.
In which he reveals his number one fear is clowns.
Oh, that's right, he does at the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you were crying over my body. I could hear you. And he's like, I wasn't crying. Yeah, there's some tears. You thought I was dead.
It's like, out of 10, what were you thinking by dying? 4.
It's not like he's a clown or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually very good. So that's my pitch to it. So yeah, be very much action-packed. Obviously, I've just kind of taken some parts out. I took out the whole bit where they attack the town, because in the game I kind of think that's just a level game. Same with the one with Tenzin and the Sherpa going through like the mountains and stuff and trying to discover more about the history of what the expedition was. You could have that, but the bad guys attacking the town, this seems like they're doing it to be destructive, where I don't think Mads Mikkelsen, who'd be smarter he wouldn't just attack them, because if he attacks them, that gives them more motivation to go after him. He would just kind of go and concentrate all his efforts on getting this, and just, who cares about them? They're not worth my time. Yeah, that's why I kind of cut it out. Didn't have to see the Shire burning like in Lord of the Rings. Another Lord of the Rings reference. Yeah,
The Shire is burning.
the Shire.
So my movie's very similar. I mean, you know, we're going off the same thing. However, my starting is different.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm not starting on the train. However, I am doing a flash forward. You start off and Nate's in jail, looking all forlorn.
Yep.
Maybe doing the old cup on the railing.
Yeah.
Maybe singing an old blues song or
Might have a
something.
ball that he's thrown against the wall.
Yeah.
Catching
Oh,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think some of the preamble isn't, and you know, maybe not as necessary. So mine just it's start in the jail, then go straight to the boat on the way to Istanbul Museum, and use the banter that happens there to show that there's relationship between Chloe and Harry. They go grab the Marco Polo, oil lamp, and then there's the first betrayal. So Harry betrayals, and then he gets captured, and then it shows him, and he goes, you know, he's in jail. Sully turns up, and he goes, "Look, I smell."
Would you give him Jensen ankles? Would you give him the Soldier Boy kind of beard because he's been in jail for 2 months?
That could be his like first scene before he like has to shave and get ready for it.
Because he doesn't have a beard in this one. He's been in jail for over a month. Maybe he's been shaving every day.
Yeah, in his bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bails him out, and then they plan to infiltrate the Lazarevich camp. Head to Borneo, where you get the first glimpse of Lazarevich. Yeah, I'd be doing the same as you with a kind of a brutal takeout of one of his men as an example. Then distraction with an explosion, go through all their files, and then battle out of the camp to get to the mountain and to get the Chintamani knife and the map.
So your first action sequence will pretty much in the movie will be when he's in that camp instead, rather than the train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's got goons for a reason, and we might as well see them get used.
And explosions and people getting blasted away is always fun.
And then second betrayal by Chloe, and then turns out that she's actually been double crossing, and you can see she's playing both sides, and then allows them to escape.
So you wouldn't have her in the cell then at the start.
Yeah, no, she's there. But she, you know, when she goes there, she's just, you know, being like, "Oh, you douche, why'd you get, like, you know, picked up?" Yeah. Head to Nepal and Kathmandu, chasing through in the car, and then Chloe saves him with an RPG. I remember in the games there was the hardcore helicopter fights, and I kind of want to bring those back in because they're pretty intense.
Well, that's why one of my sequences is him jumping over the rooftops and the collapsing buildings as he's sliding down them.
Yeah.
That whole sequence.
Yeah.
They have one of them.
Yep. No, I'd agree. I want that. Meeting up with Elena and Jeff, getting into the temple and the map, escaping through Kathmandu with Jeff being injured, and then Chloe betrays again.
Of course she does.
Yep. Then face to face with Lazarevich, getting to the train, Harry shooting Nathan, train crashing, and then Tenzin picking up Nathan. Waking up, meeting Tenzin, Elena, and Schaefer, and finding out like the common history that Schaefer has with basically being Nathan before Nathan. Explore the mountain caves a bit, have a bit of montage with there, bring it to Nazis, and I'd love to have some sort of Indiana Jones shot for shot, you know, like reflection there.
Yeah.
So like some way that you can kind of be like, is it Raiders or is it Temple? That's the Nazis.
Nazis is Raiders and also is the Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Temple was the Cardiamal.
With the cuckoo.
Yeah.
Cuckoo. I'd do it, in homage to Raiders through some sort of shot or something.
With the exposition part, would you actually introduce the Yeti? Because the Yeti actually attacks them in that scene, but I never actually had that scene in my one.
When Tenzin and thing, yeah.
Because I actually skipped that whole part, so you only have the Yeti at the end when they reveal it.
But like, I think if you only see it at the end, then it doesn't have any
The
of
impact.
the
I toyed with that, but I was like, I'm taking it out.
Yeah, they would like, especially in the temple before they go back to the village, you know, like they get nailed upon by heaps and heaps of the Yeti, and you're just like, what the hell? And I hated those things.
Yeah, they're terrifying. They're so hard to take down. They're jumping around. You shoot them like 10 times, they just jump back up.
You unload a full clip into them, and you're just. I'd have the village destruction. I think that while admittedly Lazarevich would probably, be single-mindedly onto a goal, he would also, it kind of goes back to when he took down his goon. There's payback.
Show of power as well.
Yeah.
It could give you that really interesting tank scene where you could like run around the buildings and not get blown up by the tank.
Yeah.
Like, that's a cool scene.
Yeah, and imagine that with Dolby Atmos.
I'm watching it now in my mind.
And then the truck battle, chasing to try and get Schaefer, finding him dead in the temple. Chloe manages to get the dagger back after you kind of sneak in and, Lazarevich and Flynn go off. After that, though, Lazarevich manages to get back in and hold him to ransom and give him the ethical choice of, am I going to kill Elena or am I going to kill Chloe? Who do you choose?
Yeah, do you choose one of them to die or just do my bidding for me and then die yourself?
Finds the Shambhala entrance with Harry. Creatures attack and then he opens the entrance to Shambhala. Guardians attack. They find the Shintamani stone, or what actually turns out to be the Tree of Life amber. Flynn sacrifices and injures Elena. Then with the Lazarevich battle, I really like the morality that Lazarevich says just before he gets attacked. We're not so different. How many people have you killed today? How many of my goons have you killed over the years?
Which is true because like during the cutscenes, he's like refusing to shoot people. Like, I just went and killed like 50 people to get here.
Yeah, you've mown down thousands of dudes and then you are going to pause here?
Yeah, it's like Uncharted 4. Oh, he won't do it when he's got a gun to someone's head. He won't do it because he's not that sort of person. It's like, he just killed like all her army.
The amount of clips that he's had to refill because of like...
Yeah, that's one thing that annoys me between cutscenes and actual gameplay is you do kill a lot of people and it is pretty brutal how you do it.
Like, I always loved that, where it kind of like, there's that mirror. You may think I'm evil, but really you're your own sort of evil.
We're doing bad things for our own causes.
I just have an end goal in mind. That is...
Just. He believes just, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. And like all good villains, they fully believe in their cause. Shambhala crumbles, and then they get to the village. And then we see Chloe say, "You're going to miss this ass."
Yeah. She does say that, doesn't she? Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that because we're both doing movies and stuff and obviously doing the same story that we do have differences as well.
Yeah.
Probably like half your movie would probably be on the mountains rather than the other half be just leading up to it. Rather, I think my one would probably be about, I'd say 2/3, maybe even 3/4 would be leading up to the mountains and then the last quarter would be there. So it'd be different enough pictures as well. I did like you say, introducing Schaefer more into it and having more his part of it. I didn't originally have it in my plan, but it was cool.
Yeah, I think mine, like the things that I really want, there was the grey morality that is at the end, and then also the betrayals aspects.
And I like it in both their pictures. We both resisted the urge to make Harry a redeeming feature at the end. Because a lot of people he would just redeem himself at the end. No, he always wanted Nathan to kind of pay back for it. So he would try and take himself out and take Nathan at the same time. You don't have to redeem him. He doesn't have to be someone that has to be saved. I like that. It's too cliche. Right, so that's both our pictures. Either or, I'd seen both. And I could see us, if we're making a movie of that, we could collaborate pretty easily and just kind of add or remove scenes as much as we want and kind of figure out a story.
Yeah, like having a middle ground would probably end up being quite tight and quite good.
Either of them would be better than the movie. Like, I did like the movie, it's fine, but it's Uncharted by name only, really. So yeah, those are our two pictures, some good ideas and some interesting points. If you like what you hear or have a question for us, who knows, it might be about Uncharted 2. Well, you can contact us through our Nobody Does It Bennett Facebook page or by hitting us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. You can also email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com. We even have a website you can check out, nobodydoesitbennett.buzzsprout.com. So remember, it's always 2 N's and 2 T's and Bennett.
2 Z's and Buzzsprout.
And 2 Z's and Buzzsprout. Yep. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and other podcast outlets. You can even listen to us on YouTube. Do you have any final thoughts, Ross, for Uncharted 2 Among Thieves?
They should make this movie. Like, in terms of story, in terms of action, this is the best. Why did they not just copy this, and then Uncharted as a movie franchise could have actually kicked off.
Like, even if they started not with 1, but started with 2, that could have been a good way to do it. Uncharted movie, they took a lot of aspects of 4 because they wanted to introduce Sam straight away. I was like, why not introduce him later? 2 would have been a really good way to start things off. Like, even if the train sequence at the start would have been perfect. You don't copy the game because people will know what's going to happen, but it's like a book if it's a good story.
Not everybody's played the game.
And if you have, sometimes you want to just go and watch that.
Yeah.
You could watch the cutscenes, I guess, but ours would have obviously different actors, different moments, different way it's shot, add things, remove things. Yeah, it'd just be, I think, a fun 2-hour experience that I could see myself watching again and again. Yeah. Very much like Indiana Jones.
And then you go, where are they going to next?
The third game, I don't think the story's as good.
Yeah.
I think the first and the third ones are the weak stories in the game. I think the third's probably the weakest.
Yeah.
So would you go from 3, or skip 3 and go straight to 4 as well? Maybe make 4 2 movies, or 2-parter, like a part 1, part 2, like I do, because it's a massive game.
Yeah.
Compared to the other ones. Right, so thank you, Ross, for joining me once again for Uncharted on a video game movie pitch.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you again for listening. Remember, some others may do it better, but nobody does it Bennett. Take care.
It's the end of the show, and now it's time to go. Don't be sad, just be glad. Then nobody does it Bennett.